social scholarships that we offer. Plus, you also become eligible for application fee waivers, which a lot of the participating universities offer to attendees like yourself. So being this session, you'll get to know a lot more about the scholarships, about the application fee waiver opportunities, and all of that through the course of this session. So be around for this. Coming to the introduction of our master today, our master is Professor Nima Kodzadeh. He is, sorry, I'm messing it up again. Professor Kodzadeh is a professor. He's an assistant professor at Worcester Polytechnic Institution. He is a professor of information systems and data sciences. And today's class is about social media analytics frameworks that you can use or brands use to improve their social media activities by collecting and analyzing social media posts to generate strategic guidelines on the types of content topics to share. In simple words, if I'm reading this correct, his session today is about how you can use these insights, the data analytics and insights from the content which is out there to improve your social media performance and improve your brand's presence online. If any of you who are looking to be in the domain of marketing or analytics or data sciences, this is extremely relevant in today's day and time. Marketing is extremely analytical. Even other functions are extremely analytical. And this session is going to give us some frameworks, some insights into what kind of frameworks or what kind of content you can use, what kind of research you can use to make a better impact in your chosen field of work. Coming to Professor Kodzadeh's introduction, or I'm going to start calling him Professor K, as he's popularly called by his students. His research interests include responsible use of artificial intelligence, so AI, social media analytics, and electronic word of mouth. His research has been presented at national and international conferences and published in leading information systems journals such as the Journal of Association of Information Systems, European Journal of Information Systems, Decision Support Systems, and International Journal of Information Management, amongst others. He's currently also an associate editor for Internet Research. So I'm going to hand over this session to Professor K at this point. We will speak to Amanda as well very shortly. Once we are done with the masterclass, we are going to speak with Amanda as well. So as I said, please be in this session. And I'm going to hand over this session to Professor K now to take us through his extremely insightful masterclass.
Thank you very much, Sanjay. May I share the slides?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Sure. All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for attending this session. My name is Nima Kodzadeh. As Sanjay said, my students just call me Professor K. So today in this masterclass, I'm going to talk about the impact of social media analytics on content strategy. Again, as Sanjay said, this is a relevant and very timely topic in the context of information systems, data science, business analytics, and also marketing. So as you know, over the past few years, there has been an increase in the number of social media users. So, reports show that around 3 billion users are active on Facebook, and more than 500 million users are on Twitter. These information are from October 2022 and also up to 2023. So this shows that, there are a lot of people on social media platforms. This provides a great opportunity for firms, for brands, for companies, nonprofit organizations, even government agencies to communicate with their audience through these channels. By social media platforms, as you are, I'm pretty sure you are familiar with those kind of platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and so on and so forth. So as you can see in this chart, more than 92% of US marketers, are using actually social media for marketing purposes. This is from 2022. And this number in 2013 was about 86%. So it means that it's very important for brands to have a strong and effective presence on social media, again, to communicate with their audience and to engage with them. And in order to do that, they need to have a very strong and effective content strategy. What do I mean by content strategy? Well, content strategy or social content strategy in the context of social media is basically a plan for creating and sharing content specifically for social media platforms. So it basically means brands should know what types of topics they should post on social media. How should they post those kind of topics? When should they post those kind of topics to generate user engagement, to generate results? As such, the key elements of content strategy in the social media context are these three types of content topics. So again, brands want to decide on the types of topics or the categories of topics that they should focus on, whether they should focus on inspiring or inspirational topics or entertaining topics, educational topics, and so on and so forth. Also, content features. They need to decide on, in general, what types of features they should include in the posts that they make on different platforms, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so on. Also, timing matters. They need to know on what days of the week and at what times, posting makes more engagement, whether it's in the morning or afternoon or evening, and so on. So these in general are considered a content strategy as an overarching plan for a brand to understand and to know and to decide on when, what, and how to post on social media. So I've been talking about user engagement here. I was saying that these features, these elements are important because they impact user engagement. What is user engagement? Well, user engagement is basically the level of interaction that a user has with a brand's content. If you go on Facebook and Twitter, sometimes you like some posts, sometimes you share or retweet some posts, sometimes you leave comments. So brands actually would love to have these kind of engagements, to receive these kind of engagements from users. Why does it matter to them? Because it increases brand awareness. The more people share posts, the more people like posts, the more those kind of contents will be visible visible to others, get shared with other users, and it's kind of brand awareness. Also, it's for improved algorithm ranking. It's interesting that social media algorithms actually care about engagement. They favor the content that has more engagement when they want to make the content visible to other users. So the more your content receives engagement, the more likely it will be, it will appear on other users' feeds, again, like Twitter and Facebook. And better customer relationship, of course, if brands are able to, make posts that are engaging and interesting to users, that makes users happier, and that can establish a better relationship, online relationship, digital relationship between the brand and the users. And finally, all of these will provide a competitive advantage for the company, for the brand. In that way, they are kind of ahead of other companies, other brands that are not effectively using social media. So now you may ask, how can we decide on, or how can we formulate an effective social content strategy? What are the factors that impact user engagement in these kind of platforms? Well, research shows that there are different features that can generally influence user engagement in different contexts. For instance, it's a common knowledge that including images or pictures in posts can enhance engagement. However, these kinds of general recommendations on types of content, interactivity, vividness, novelty, and so on are basically general recommendations anyway, which means in specific contexts, for example, entertaining posts made by brands in specific industry may generate high engagement, whereas that may not be that effective in other industry. In healthcare industry, for example, that may not be that effective, whereas in retail industry, companies can use entertaining posts to generate engagement. Therefore, these features and influential factors are important, but they provide a general framework for brands, which means it's better for brands to actively analyze data to understand what dimensions, what factors, what features can improve user engagement in specific contexts of their company or organization. How can they do that? Through social media analytics. Social media analytics is basically the practice of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting data from social media platforms to achieve specific goals. Here in this case, to identify the best performing content, to optimize posting times, to monitor conversations and understand what people are talking about, and to measure and adjust campaigns, social media campaigns. So basically, social media analytics is collecting data from social media. By data, we mean posts and post characteristics, post features, and then analyzing it to understand, determine these things: best performing content, optimizing posting times, and so on and so forth. Okay, there are different tools that enable companies to implement these kind of analytics, such as Google Analytics and Sprout Social. So these tools allow brands to collect data from social media, to find trends, and to actually visualize the data regarding engagement, and to provide insights into how users are reacting to the brand's posts. Many companies are using social media analytics, like these tools, like Coca-Cola, Airbnb. Airbnb, for example, in 2020 realized that people were actually interested in road tripping at that time. And therefore, they adjusted their social content strategy toward topics that are focused on road tripping and focused on short trips, right? Coca-Cola, same thing. They have been using social media analytics to find trends and to understand the conversations around the products provided by Coca-Cola. So this is how different companies are using social media analytics. However, regardless of whether these companies use off-the-shelf tools and applications for social media analytics, or they develop social media analytics tools and applications using programming languages such as Python or Java, what they need to do to formulate and improve their content strategy is to go through a 5-step process of strategy development. Okay, this is the 5-step process of content strategy development. It gives brands an overarching framework to understand how they should collect data, analyze data, interpret data, and formulate content strategy for their company or for their brand. This is not specific to a tool or application. This is, again, an overarching analytics-driven framework or process. And by the way, this process and the explanations around them are presented in this paper that I published with my colleague a couple of years ago. If you are interested to learn more about that, you can read this paper. However, here today, I want to provide an overview of the steps that brands should take to implement this process, this method or this approach to improve their content strategy. Let's go back to the model. As you can see, the first step in the model is peer brand selection, right? So what is peer brand selection? It means that if we want to improve our social media activities, if we want to formulate an effective content strategy on social media, we need to collect data from similar brands' social media pages to understand what kind of topics they are posting about and how different topics in that context impact user engagement, how different features of social media posts in that context impact user engagement. So the first step is to selecting peer brands. Peer brands are the brands that are similar to our brand in terms of different characteristics, including contextual characteristics, organizational characteristics, and social media characteristics. Contextual characteristics is basically industry or sector. For example, if we have a coffee shop in Boston and we want to know how we can improve our social media activities, then we need to find peer brands which are in the same sector, which means basically other cafes or coffee shops that have a presence on social media, right? That coffee shop may not want to collect data from like a hospital social media page because that does not apply to this context and that does not help them improve their user engagement. The second category is organizational characteristics, which basically includes target market. What are the target markets? If our target market is in Massachusetts, for example, it may not help much if we collect data from social media pages of brands that are in Europe or in Australia, because their cultural preferences are different, their user behaviors and preferences are different, and so on. So in terms of target market, products and services, size, and strategic directions, these are the factors that brands can take into account when they select peer brands to benchmark their activities against their activities. And the third category is social media characteristics. Basically, if we are a coffee shop with a social media, with a Facebook page with 10,000 followers, we may not benchmark our activities. We may not formulate our content strategy based on the activities of Starbucks, which has probably millions of followers, because their activities are different. The engagement and the dynamics of the page are different. So in terms of goals, scale, and scope of social media use, these also should be taken into account when we decide which brands should be selected in this step. Excuse me. So the second step is data collection. Once we decide on which brands should we collect data from, we should actually implement the data collection. Data collection is generally done automatically using some tools, some web scraping tools and APIs. So these tools provided in this figure, or there are some libraries and packages in programming languages such as Python that can be used to automatically collect data from social media pages like Twitter, Facebook, and so on. By the way, when we say they collect data, we mean collecting the posts, the text of the posts, the features of the posts, such as images, videos, and also the user engagements, such as number of likes, comments, shares, or retweets. So we need to collect this data. And at the end of this step, we will have a data set containing posts made by the peer brands. We move on to the next step, which is analysis, thematic analysis. Thematic analysis or content analysis is basically extracting the topics that the peer brands are posting about. Extracting topics, traditionally it has been done qualitatively and by some coders, by some human coders. But nowadays, with natural language processing or NLP technologies, it's possible to actually extract topics automatically using AI. So this is called topic modeling, basically. When we use AI or natural language processing applications and packages and tools to extract themes and hidden topics in a bunch of documents, in this case, bunch of tweets or bunch of social media posts, Facebook posts, it's called topic modeling. There are different algorithms that can handle this. The most popular one is latent directly allocation, which is called LDA. So as you can see in the model, this algorithm and topic modeling in general will use a set of documents or text or tweets or social media posts, and it will distinguish between different topics. And for each topic, it will determine what kind of words are most popular or most commonly used. Why do we need to do this? Because we want to eventually know what kind of topics generate more engagement, right? So first we need to know what are the topics. And there are some tools and packages. GenSim, for example, is a Python library that can be used for implementing LDA and other topic modeling algorithms. Mallet and Stanford Topic Modeling Toolbox, they are Java-based applications and tools that can also be used for implementing, topic modeling. Anyway, at the end of this phase, what we have is a set of topics that we have extracted from the posts made by peer brands. Now it's time to understand which topic has been more successful in terms of generating user engagement, right? So in order to do that, we conduct engagement analysis. What is engagement analysis? Engagement analysis is basically quantitative assessment of the influence of post topics and characteristics on user engagement. By characteristics, again, remember, we talked about including images, including videos, length of the post, even timing of the post. These are all characteristics that we are interested in knowing whether they are influential, on user engagement. So we can do different types of analysis to find this relationship and to predict user engagement. Regression analysis is one of them. For those of you who are familiar with regression analysis, it generates some coefficients, some weights that can tell you which topic and which characteristic is more influential, more effective in generating engagement, and which topics and characteristics are less influential, and some of them are maybe negatively even influential, so they may reduce user engagement. Excuse me. So at the end of this step, the weights can be generated for the features and topics, and they can be used to implement content strategy, or better to say, it can be used to generate some recommendations or guidelines for the brand to follow. For example, if we find that topic A is very successful in driving user engagement, then based on that, we can provide the recommendation as part of the content strategy to our brand that, hey, it's good to focus on that kind of topic, right? So the output is a set of actionable guidelines and content strategies. And the next step is implementation. So the recommendations are basically generated, and it's time for the brand to implement it, to follow the guidelines, and to go back and do this process again and again periodically, like every few months or every year, because things change in the world, the user preferences change, and even the social media, features and functionalities change. So this process should be done continuously over time for brands to be able to improve their content strategies and social media activities. This is just an example of how we actually conducted this process. I'm not sure if it's visible in this slide, but I'll explain it. It's also in the paper. So here, this is in the context of healthcare. Suppose that a hospital in Boston is interested in developing or improving their content strategy. To do that, they will go through this process, collect data from Facebook posts. This is all about Facebook. Facebook posts made by peer brands, peer hospitals, and then they analyze it, generate guidelines and recommendations, and formulate their content strategy. This is how we did this. We actually identified 17 hospitals. Those are assumingly the peer brands for that hospital that I was talking about, which is in Boston. Okay, so after doing the first step, which is the peer brand selection, they move on to the second step. They collect data from Facebook. Here in this case, it's about 1,500 posts. It's not a big data set, but still it was helpful to them. Excuse me. And then they also collected data about other characteristics of the posts, such as, whether they have one image or more than one image, whether the posts have video, and also interpost durations. How much time is between consecutive posts that the brand makes. Also the topics, look at that, post topics. Those topics were not something that were available before doing this analysis. The hospital in Boston actually had to extract these topics from other hospitals' postings. So that is what they did. They went through the postings, and these are the topics that were generated as part of the content, content analysis phase. So the topics are something like sharing health information, sharing patient success and feel-good stories, and monetary donation, organ donation, etc. And then in the engagement analysis phase, the hospital conducted a regression analysis. Here in this case, it's negative binomial regression analysis. And they found these coefficients, right? See, column A, B, and C are associated with number of likes, comments, and shares. The cells that are green, they are positive, which means they improve or increase user engagement. The cells that are in yellow, they are negative, which means they decrease engagement. For example, including more than one picture will increase number of likes and comments, but it does not necessarily increase number of shares. Okay, among the topics, look at the first topic, sharing health information. It's interesting because it improves the number of shares. It means that if a hospital in Boston posts about health information, tips, and advice, they will receive a great number of shares, but the number of likes and comments will go down because people will not necessarily like or comment those kind of posts. Whereas for sharing patient success and feel-good stories, they are all positive, which means it generates, or those kind of posts generate high engagement in terms of likes, comments, and shares. Okay, so based on this output, a set of recommendations can be generated for the hospital in Boston. For example, they may, if they want to post, health information and health advice related to flu, COVID-19, etc. They need to be careful because posting too many of them will reduce the number of comments and likes. What they can do is to combine those kind of posts with other topics, probably with something like recognizing special days, because those will generate high engagement in terms of all the measures. So combining them is a good strategy. And also including pictures and images, as you can see, would be a good strategy, right? So based on these results, a set of recommendations, a set of guidelines will be provided to the hospital, and they can formulate the content strategy and they can implement it over time, and then they can go back in a few months or a year or two and revise this based on new data that they collect and new analysis that they conduct on the data set. Okay, so this was how the process can be implemented. In summary, as you saw, social media analytics can help brands improve their content strategy and user engagement. Social media analytics involves analyzing posts and their characteristics and assessing the impact of those characteristics on user engagement. And the 5-step analytics-driven content development process can be performed periodically to improve content strategy for brands in different contexts. Again, brands could be businesses, could be nonprofit organizations, government agencies, government organizations, or even individual brands. Any person or entity that has a presence on social media can use this process to improve their content strategy and user engagement. Okay, thank you very much. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Professor K, this was extremely insightful and extremely relevant. We work in marketing as well. And of course, you see the outcome of our marketing with the attendees that you see in the session. And I think these insights and approaches to doing this is extremely relevant and insightful. I would actually encourage the audience to ask questions. Don't be scared. While the topic may look complex at front, there's a lot to learn over here, a lot of opportunities over here. So if you have any doubts about the emerging trends in the space, or if you work in marketing and want to clarify some doubts, this is your opportunity to get in feedback or inputs from an expert in the field. So if you have any questions, please do post them in the Q&A box. We'd be happy to pick them up for Professor Nima. Okay, I see the questions coming in. The audience are a little shy initially and need a required prodding. So thank you, Jeevan. Thank you for that question. Jeevan's question is around, he's just started in a service media agency, so works in digital marketing, I understand. And he's looking to scale and build a successful media agency for himself. Okay. I am going to add on, he's not asked any questions, so I'm going to add on a question to his point over here. For someone starting new in the field, what are the emerging trends or how can they be ahead of the curve? A lot of this has already happened by other media agencies, digital advertising, analytics companies are using such resources in the past. What are the new trends or new opportunities that someone starting in this field can use to have an edge over everyone else?
Sure. So I think a very trending topic these days is generative AI and conversational agents. So nowadays, AI can help brands develop content that is more engaging. So you may have heard about like ChatGPT and these kind of technologies. So similar technologies can be used in this context also to empower digital marketers to develop better strategies to improve the social media activities to eventually improve user engagement and drive results.
That's very interesting. We have been hearing about ChatGPT in the news throughout. We heard about how it's managed to, people are using it. Okay, for a lot of other reasons as well, I don't want to give any ideas to the audience right now, but that's very interesting. Professor, any books that you recommend that these people can, they are, a lot of them are undergraduate college students right now, maybe have some bandwidth to go through some content and some theories and research as well. So any books that you would recommend for them?
So that's an interesting question. Well, as you know, technology changes every month. So books are not generally reflecting those changes. Plus, I try to provide an overview and resources in different parts. For example, topic modeling by itself can be half a course, half a semester focusing on that specific topic. So what I recommend is that students who are interested in the technical side, they try to find and learn about tools and libraries like Python libraries, R libraries, and packages that can be used for those steps like engagement analysis, for topic modeling, for web scraping, those kind of things separately. And on the other side, those who are more into business and marketing, they focus on types of topics that are more trending, and they focus on articles or books that are in line with that. So I would say this includes a range of topics, tutorials, documentations, and books that could be used to improve this whole process and to improve knowledge and learning in this context.
All right, interesting. One question which has come in, and this seems very interesting and counterintuitive to me as well, but I would take this up. So this is a question by Sanjeeva Rao Pila, who is asking, can spamming actually help brands advertise even more, or will it render the ads or feed ineffective completely? So do you recommend a carpet bombing strategy at times, or does that ever help, or do you say narrowed, focused thing is your suggestion over here?
So the question is about spamming, whether it's effective?
Whether it can help brands advertise even more. Can it counterintuitively work in your favor to spam at times?
Well, a problem with spams is that it informationally, it overloads users. So over time, it's actually part of also this study that I showed to you, that it's not true that the more you post, the better engagement you get. No, at some point you will get less and less engagement, because posting too many things and talking about too many topics will make users cognitively overloaded, and at that point they will not care about your posts. Even if when you use your social media, you scroll down, those friends or followees or connections who post a lot, you may just ignore them. You may just go down because they post a lot of things. So it's very important to optimize the posting activities in terms of duration, interpost duration, in terms of number of posts. There have been research studies conducted in this context that have shown that it's not a linear relationship between the more you post, the more you can spam, the better results you get.
Interesting. Okay, Charles, I'm not sure if I understand your question correctly, but I'm still going to ask this. The question is, can we have short videos of the tools and libraries from time to time? I'm not sure if this question connects with you or makes sense. Charles, if you can elaborate on your question by typing a comment on the same question, that would really help, and I can possibly take up your question then. Professor, possibly this is my second last question to you. I know we also need to cover about the programs at WPI. So I quickly want to take up this question by Satarupa Majumdar. It's a slightly longish question, so I'm going to paraphrase it. Her question is that you discussed about social media content. Her query is if we can implement this on Google Business Profile, as it also has the option to post and update. And if so, if we can post, use these strategies also for Google Business Profile, then how can they scrap data from their competitors to build a better Google Business Profile and increase engagements for their brand?
Sure. So
scrapping tools that they can use.
So collecting data, the policies, the data collection policies that different companies, including Google, Twitter, and Facebook, use actually changes over time. So Twitter has recently, for example, changed the way or the number of tweets that users can collect, and the limitations on the overall amount of data that you can collect from peer brands. And accordingly, tools and technologies will adapt, and new packages will emerge that can handle those kind of policies. So talking about a Google Business Profile, again, it depends on whether they allow this kind of data collection. And it depends on what is their policy and how that can be linked to the web scraping packages and tools. If these two link together, yes, of course, that will be possible. But if not, probably using programming languages, one may want to develop some scraping tools that can handle this. Again, if the companies allow this, because, for example, on Twitter, because of these kind of processes that I explained today, many researchers also have been collecting data from Twitter. So for that reason, they have been changing their policy to probably non-free version of data collection. So they may charge people for the data, even regular users. But that's how it is. We technology changes, policies change, and we need to adapt to the changes.
All right. Great. So thank you for that. And we are over time, but I'm going to take up one last interesting question to the audience. Don't go anywhere post this. We are also going to speak with Amanda, who's the Director of Marketing at WPI, and we are going to talk about the programs. She's also going to share the application fee waiver code that you can use if you're looking to apply to WPI this year. And I'm going to tell you about the scholarship that SEED offers to students who are looking to study at institutes at WPI. But before we let the professor go, I'm going to ask one question, and this is very subjective, but just an opinion. And this is a question again, AI and ChatGPT, bringing those into perspective. Do you think at any point AI generated content would be able to replace human writers? We read recently about how ChatGPT wrote a case and was able to get an exemption on some fines for someone. But do you think it would be able to replace human creative content writers at any point?
Very interesting question. It has been actually a very controversial topic, whether it can replace writers. I would say no, because human judgments and human cognition is still needed in all sectors. So it's the matter of how writers can interact with these technologies. So these technologies can empower, writers instead of replace their position. So the more they can interact with these kind of technologies to improve their output, the better, because eventually that's humans who make a decision on what content should be presented, whether as part of a writing or on social media, etc. So to me, that will not happen. And the best strategy for your writers and in general for people is to, again, adapt to change and learn how to use these new technologies to improve their activities and improve their whatever they do, whether they're students, writers, or whatever.
Great. So thank you, Arshi, for that wonderful question. Extremely relevant today in today's day and age. So don't look at it as competition, but as something that can align with your work and support you in your journey as well. But keep up to date with the trends, with the technology which is out there. You never know, something interesting may come up. So thank you, Professor K. Thank you for that extremely insightful session. I personally enjoyed it quite a lot. So thank you for doing that. To the audience, as I said, please don't go anywhere. We are looking to speak with Amanda as well. So let me bring her in over here. And we are going to let Professor K get back to his classes and the busy schedule. So thank you, Professor. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for having me.
You have a great day. And with that, let me bring in Amanda. So Amanda is the Director of Marketing and Recruitment for WPI's graduate studies. Those of you who don't know this, WPI has 4 different schools affiliated to the institute, to the Worcester Polytechnic Institute. That's the Global School, the School of Engineering, the School of Arts and Sciences, and the Business School. So Amanda is going to quickly give us an overview about the institute, about the programs that WPI offers, and is going to offer an application fee waiver to all the attendees in today's session. Amanda, I assume this application fee waiver is applicable to all the 4 schools affiliated with WPI?
Yes.
Great. Awesome. So great. So over to you. Please do take us through the programs that WPI offers, and we will talk about the application fee waiver code as well eventually.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the intro, and thank you, Professor K, for the wonderful presentation today. So this is Worcester Polytechnic Institute. We were created back in 1865. And really what we're founded on is around theory and practice so that what you're learning in the classroom can be immediately applied on the job. So it's not just that textbook knowledge, you're having the tools, the skills to really have an impact on the future of work. At WPI, we have over 7,000 students. 2,000 of those students plus are our graduate students. And one of the great things about Worcester Polytechnic Institute, WPI, is that our faculty, the ones that have worked in industry, the ones that are leading the cutting edge research, are the faculty that are going to be teaching you. So it's not teachers' assistants, it is faculty, and you have small course class sizes as well, anywhere from 10 to 40 people in your class. Now, here are some WPI stats at a glance. As I mentioned, we have over 5,000 undergrad, 2,000 graduate students. 36% of our graduate population are international students from 89 different countries. Our graduate students receive one-on-one student support from our student success team. They check in with you from day one of your course halfway through to ensure that things are going well and connect you to WPI and the resources that it has. So it's really that concierge service for you. In addition, we have 400 plus corporate partners and companies that are recruiting our WPI students. So a lot of our graduate students will do internships during the summer semester or even during the semester, and they find these opportunities through faculty partnerships. In addition, they find them through our Career Development Center. And then, of course, job opportunities as well are through there. And you can meet those people either through events that the Career Development Center is hosting, interviews on campus, and the career fair as well. And we have over 65 graduate professional development programs specifically for our graduate students. This is both at the master's and the PhD level. And then you can see here the degrees and awards that were awarded in 2021. Now, a little bit about Worcester Polytechnic Institute and the location in Worcester. Worcester is the second largest city in New England. We're about 45 minutes from Boston. In addition, we have a train that can bring you to New York and into Boston, and we also have an airport. So it's very convenient. It is a college town. There's 11 colleges around Worcester. And you have easy access, as I mentioned, to Boston, New York beaches, skiing, and more, and over 34,000 college area students in the area. It is an urban area as well, diverse city with the minor league baseball team is here, to the Red Sox, in addition to different arts, theater, performance, and music halls. So it's a fun city with a lot of different cultural happenings and food as well. As Sanjay mentioned, WPI has 4 different schools. So we have the School of Engineering, which in the school you work closely with the faculty, really immersing yourself in cutting edge research that prepares you in the classroom to apply your learnings on the job. Then we also have the School of Arts and Science, and this really focuses on research for the greater good. We have over 24 programs, and really those programs are working together with arts and science, engineering, and having business principles. Then you have our business school, which Professor K is part of. And this school really caters to engineers, scientists, and change makers, really leveraging the power of business and STEM focused courses and build data-driven management skills. And then the global school, which is our 4th school, offers globally focused programs with a distinct opportunity in the classroom to do field-based experiences and interdisciplinary research. So this is just a snapshot of some of our programs. You can click on this link and see all 50 plus graduate programs that we offer. on-campus STEM designated programs, along with programs that offer online as well. Now, admissions qualifications and requirements. To see about the programs, every program has different requirements depending on backgrounds. If you click on the link that we have in this presentation, and you'll receive the slides as well, you'll be able to see the exact qualifications for the program that you're interested in. But typically what we see when you're applying is you have the relevant bachelor's degree in the program of interest. You have it from an accredited university and your GPA is 3.0 or greater. Review application requirements. As I mentioned, you can see what exactly is required. Typically, it's a statement of purpose, 3 letters of recommendation, your college transcripts, and sometimes a resume as well. And then application deadlines. We are rolling admissions, but typically for our international students, we suggest applying by March 1st, April 1st. We do have some international students that also apply for June 1st, and it takes about 2 to 8 weeks for your application to be reviewed. For our international students, any student that is seeking to attend WPI, they need to submit their TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo scores. Here are the requirements for the scores. And they have to meet these score minimums in order to apply to WPI. And then qualifications for English language test score waivers. If individuals have been in the US for 3 or more years working, individuals have had 2 continuous full-time college study completed within the last 5 years, and individuals from a native language speaking English as well. And if you qualify for our test score waivers, you can email us at grad@wpi.edu. And then if you're interested in finding out any more about our programs, I'll leave this up. You can scan this QR code and it will bring you to an inquiry form. And you can fill out the program of interest that you have. But that's everything that I wanted to share with everyone today.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. This was extremely insightful. To the audience, if you have any questions for Amanda, you can post them in the Q&A box as well. My apologies, I couldn't take up all the questions that you had asked for Professor K. I think there were quite a few and we were a little hard pressed on time. But if you are looking to study from Professor K in the future, then WPI is the place that you should be looking to go to. And if you have any questions about the programs, about the courses that WPI offers, please do ask them in the chat, in the Q&A box, and I would pick up the relevant ones over there. What I'm also going to do is, Amanda, if you don't mind, I'm going to share the link to WPI's employment reports in the chat window.
Yeah.
And I will also, I will also put a link to the scholarships that WPI offers. Would that be all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Amanda, do you have a process through which the interested students can avail of an application fee waiver to apply to WPI this year?
Yeah, so I will actually put that in the chat for everyone. So you can go on the application page and you actually input that on the main screen. When it asks you to pay for a fee, you can just put in that code there that I put into the chat, and you will be able to have the $70 application fee waived.
Awesome. So those of you who are still in this room, this is your perk, the benefit as well for being with us till the very end of the session. The application fee waiver code is in the chat. Amanda has posted it over there. It's IoT Seed 23. Using that, you'd be able to get a waiver on the application fee. What I have done is I've also posted the link to the employment report. I hope the complete link has come through, or if I hope it's not a broken link. Okay, sorry, I've posted a broken link, but I'll post a correct link very shortly. So you'll have the complete link as well to get an application fee waiver code, to read up the employment report for WPI. More than 400 companies recruit at WPI. So this is your opportunity. Amanda, there are a few questions that have come in. One is in the chat itself, where Sarah is asking if you have overseas learning options. So do you have something virtual learning options? And if, since we are touching on this, can you also throw some light on the immersion programs or the exchange programs that WPI offers to its master students?
Yeah, so we have a couple different exchange programs, which are typically set up individually with the faculty and then the faculty of the other university. But the majority of our programs are offered online as well. So you can take those online in an asynchronous format. So you don't have to come to the US to take the courses. You can actually take those online where you're located. In addition, our international students do have the option to do on-campus courses along with virtual courses. There is some restrictions around your visa, and that is changing for next year, where you'll be able to take one course a semester online versus on campus.
All right. Amanda, there's a question from Sophia who's asking if you have a master's program in the realm of marketing, so something related to what Professor K taught, just focused on marketing.
Yeah. So Professor K is actually a faculty member within our business analytics program, which, as you saw in today's presentation, the master course, business analytics, is a big part of marketing. So yes, that is the area in which our marketing is falling under, is under business analytics and the analysis of the data that's coming in and how to utilize that in order to make decisions within marketing different campaigns as well. So that would be the area of study that you would want to be looking at. And Professor K would be one of the individuals teaching you.
All right, great, Sophia. So this is your ideal time. You have an application fee waiver, you have the program. Now it's time to go ahead and make that great application. 1st March is the sorry, you mentioned 1st March was the current deadline, and then there's another deadline.
Nope, so there's another deadline. So the next deadline is actually May 1st. So my apologies on that.
Okay, great. So Sophia, still time. I would recommend applying soon. As you get later in the cycle, of course, the spots get more limited. So I would say apply as if you're looking to start your studies this year, then possibly consider applying as soon as possible. All right, so Amanda, one question which has come in, and possibly this is going to be the last question I'm going to take up until I get something really interesting coming into the Q&A box, was this. It's about part-time internship or work opportunities in the field of marketing. So this is Udashri is asking about marketing, but let me expand it. So firstly, part-time work opportunities as a student, and are there any limitations on the number of hours the students can work if they're working on campus?
I think graduate assistants are able to work on campus for a maximum of 20 hours a week as part of the visa. So they can work up to 20 hours a week on campus starting the first day that they come to class. After they've done international students have done 2 semesters of continuous work, they're actually able to find an internship opportunity, where I'm not exactly sure what the restrictions are on that, on the number of hours they can work. I believe it's up to 40 hours a week on their internship, but you have to be in the US at a school for 2 semesters in order to qualify to apply for those opportunities of internships.
Great. So thank you for that, Amanda, and thank you for this insightful session. To the audience, I have posted the link to the employment report, the correct link to the employment report in the chat window. I'm quickly going to post a link to the scholarships page as well for WPI. So that way you're able to get insights over there. There are merit-based scholarships, the Dean scholarships, and some other grants as well. Lastly, there's also a seed scholarship fund that we have put together. It's up to a $2,000 scholarship that you can get from seed for pursuing your master's studies at WPI. So if you are looking to apply, you can also apply to the seed scholarship fund. We have extended the application. We have introduced a rolling round for that, so extended the deadline till 31st of March. So if you want to get the $2,000 scholarship from seed, you can also apply to us for that. And of course, apply to our WPI program alongside to get an admission and avail of that scholarship. So with that, thank you, Amanda. Thank you for taking out time to do this session. Thank you for facilitating and bringing Professor Nima as well into this session. His session was extremely insightful. As I said, I personally got to learn quite a bit. I'm quite confident that the audience did as well. So thank you for partnering with us on this particular session, and it's great to have you over here. So thank you once again.
Yes, thank you. And it was nice meeting everyone today.
Great. You have a great day. And to the audience who are in India or some other part of the world, have a good evening, good night. Take care as well. And we'll see you in some other session soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.